Welcome back to the show, everybody. We got a great one for you. We have an exclusive clip from JP from yesterday's conference at Link to Team Apollo, and he's laying it down. He's got a big announcement coming up soon. We're going to get into that. Normalizing crypto to the masses, you better get ready because here it comes. Brian Brooks is back dropping truth bombs. SBI continues to deepen its position and expand market infrastructure for business applications. Yeah. Hashtag relist. It's not just hype. It is extremely real. We're going to get into that. And Ripple price prediction. Hang in there. We may be headed for the 80-cent dollar range. And OMFIF SDR could reset the international monetary system. Let's just roll that beautiful intro. Here we go.
This is Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Subscribe for new content notifications. Now, here's Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You can follow me on Twitter at BackupBradley above at the top of the screen and everything that we're talking about here today. Currently, right now, sitting at 0.5538. We are at 55 cents strong this morning. We are ranging between 53.81 and 57.12. We need to keep an eye on it to see if we get that surge to push us back up and test that 67-cent range. If we can turn that resistance line into support, we are well on our way towards $1. Let's keep this moving. Don't forget the NFTs March Madness, ladies and gentlemen, and it is madness. Bars.crypto, colleges.crypto, car dealer.crypto, mall.crypto, grocery.crypto. I'm telling you, it's just everywhere. It is amazing what they got going on. So make sure you check those out as well. Now, looking at this here from James Rule XRP, they are beginning to wake the masses up. There's a new comedy, Hold On for Dear Life, from Castle producer Beacon Pictures, set to be the first TV series financed by and set in the world of cryptocurrency. That's how you wake them up right there. Here's another way to wake them up. This is JP Terriot, CEO of Uphold. Shout out to you, my friend. This guy and what they're doing at Uphold is going to shake the earth. I'm going to play a clip for you. It's going to run a couple minutes, but I want you to understand he just got done setting up the understanding of in gaming, the inside economies that exist inside of games and gaming, and how you could buy a sword for your fighter or trade for a shield or buy a new coat or a helmet or whatever those things are. And some of these economies he even referenced are bigger than Iceland and their economy. So it's a very, very real thing. And more importantly, he leads that into understanding that they have been working on connecting and being a bridge to the infrastructure of the traditional conventional market side and what they are doing and bringing to the world. And I want to play this clip for you, and he is going to tell you that there is an announcement coming for Uphold, and it will be tapping into a platform or user base of around 100 million users. Now, they currently have gone from 2 million users to 5 million users. And I tell you, I don't know what's coming in the next 30, 60 days here, but it must be big. Let's hear JP say it. Here we go.
But again, the infrastructure that allows that from a regulatory point of view, from a compliance point of view, from all the underlying piping and cement connecting to legacy money systems like US or European banking, that's what we have and deploy. And the last thing I'll say about it, in a teaser.
Before we go there, he just got done telling you hooking up banking and infrastructure, and that's what they have deployed. So back end, he's telling you they're hooked up. They're hooked up. Keep listening. Here's a teaser coming.
Context is Brave is awesome. It's probably the first crypto native ecosystem that jumped the rails into mass market relevance. Coil is awesome. Imview is awesome. Global ID is awesome. Link2 is awesome. But none of them are 100 million customer a year mega brands. And I think there's a better than 80% chance that we'll be announcing some deals with that scale of partner in the next 30, 60 days. And
wow, that's massive.
And I hope that'll be interpreted as significant as we feel it is.
I think it is, JP. And that's amazing. And I can't wait to hear who it is or who they may be. So keep listening here, because Joe Indoso from Link2 is going to really break this down for you, what they've done. And I don't think you can say it any better. Listen to this.
Well, we're definitely going to stay tuned then for that announcement in the coming weeks, JP. But I think I much better understand now that whole proposition of you effectively being that incredibly vital bridge, right, between, on the one hand, this digital world, whether it's in the form of an on-blockchain internet, or whether it's an on-blockchain gaming service that's creating its own internal economy, but still has to coexist with this old analog world and its currencies and its assets. And you're the means by which you can interface those two in a seamless manner. You're doing that for Link2, right? Because you're making it possible for our customers who are crypto holders to invest in, private equities that are still being transacted in that old US dollar-based world, right, in a seamless fashion through that digital wallet of yours.
And that's exactly right. And shout out to Joe Indoso too, along with JP, for laying that down. They're absolutely right. And you can get those SPVs for those companies, for Link2 and Uphold and anything else they're holding right now. They usually have Kraken. They just have Ripple, and it's sold out like in minutes, I think. So make sure you check it out. And again, if you're not an accredited investor, they have the tools available for you to take the Series 65. So make sure that you check that out. That is incredible stuff they're doing. All right, now looking at this from Digital Asset Investor here, Bitcoin Truth by Brian Brooks, being honest about what Bitcoin is and what it isn't. Let's listen to this.
Payment mechanism probably is never going to work because the network is slow. It's funny, any of your viewers who've read Jeff John Roberts' great book, Kings of Crypto, will love the chapter that talks about how people came to realize that the original promise of Bitcoin as a payment mechanism probably is never going to work because the network is slow. But what its value really is using a network algorithm to create scarcity. And that's why it really is turning out to be more like gold. That's why it's performing inversely to the dollar. And that's why it's rising as inflation expectations rise, right? As it's a hedge against all that.
And here's the deal too, and shout out to Brian Brooks. One of the things I wanted to say too is that there is another use case other than just store of value for Bitcoin. You can turn your Bitcoin on Uphold into an SPV and buy SPV stocks from Link2. How about that one? Yeah, that's a really good use case for Bitcoin, isn't it? All right, looking at this right here from XRP Crypto Wolf. Another signal from Ripple partner SBI, and then we see SMBC, MUFG Ripple partner invested in the digital currency firm Decurts, and it's $62 million funding. Decurt has expanded focus to concentrate on the use case of blockchain for business applications that leverage digital currencies. Again, as JP was describing what they're doing, I see SBI, SMBC, and MUFG doing the same thing. They're on their end, respectively, tying in the market infrastructure to the digital world to leverage it for business applications. This is massive. Remember, this is a global effort. This is a global decentralized world that we're talking about with cryptocurrencies and XRP here. Hester Purse, says, she hopes regulators will change their attitude towards digital currencies and that 2021 may be the turning point for digital asset or digital currency regulation in the United States. It better be, because you could get left behind, but I don't think we will. And I think to that point, there's a reason why this is global decentralized assets we talk about every single day, but yet the world hasn't taken off with XRP just yet. Why is that? I think that's your biggest signal that it is a globally coordinated effort, and they will go when the U.S. says to go. The SEC, and went by that, I mean, you could see it fire off in Japan or the UK or Singapore or somewhere else, but I believe it will be a coordinated, agreed upon effort when it happens, wherever it happens. The SEC lawyer at the Ripple lawsuit said recently only Ripple and affiliates of Ripple can have sold XRP illegally. This is from Crypto Bull 2020 here. Then the hashtag relist appeared for crypto exchanges like Coinbase, Binance US, Kraken FX. I want to play just a short clip from you from IN here, and I want you to hear what they say in short. Listen.
Time. The judge also questioned the SEC attorney. The judge asked whether everyone who sold XRP were selling illegal securities or not, to which the SEC lawyer said no, under Section 4, only Ripple and the affiliates of Ripple can have sold XRP illegally. So this statement from the SEC lawyer clears the way for the cryptocurrency exchanges in the United States to relist XRP again, and with no fear of reprisal. So how do you think the market is going to react to the relisting? Are you bullish or bearish? Drop a comment with your thoughts.
There you go. And I think it's bullish for me at my house because I talked to Anthony Bertoloni yesterday. If you didn't see it in the first video this morning, from I Trust Capital. And by the way, they are doing a huge NFT giveaway of some art. There will only be 5 of the 2 different pieces that they have. You better sign up for the giveaway because I'm going to tell you there are huge perks. And I'll let I Trust fill you in on what they are, but you're going to want them. He told me I couldn't participate, so I don't know. I don't know what that's about. But anyway, shout out to Anthony and the I Trust Capital team. But listen to this quick exchange that I had with him, and it is very real what the lady was telling you and breaking down for you, that the SEC made it very clear that if you're not a direct affiliate to Ripple, you are not illegally selling securities as XRP is concerned. So listen to this here.
But is there any talks of I Trust possibly relisting XRP, or are you talking to exchange? I mean, I know you're not an exchange, but are you talking to exchanges? What's going on with that?
Yeah, so the relist XRP movement has been powerful. I mean, we see it all over. Everyone's contacting us. It makes sense that you're bringing it up here. So we are currently in discussions with multiple institutional liquidity providers regarding their ability to potentially turn back on XRP trading. We can't release the names, but the conversations are happening in light of the recent SEC transcripts. So, we want to service the XRP community if there's clarity on the matter, and just know that we are doing our best.
Wow. Yeah, that's a big wow for me. That's a college term, by the way. Wow. There's a new king in town, XR2D2 says, and I'm inclined to agree with him. And it's I Trust Capital, the best crypto, gold, silver IRAs on the planet. Go get that NFT. I'm telling you, there's some great perks with it. Now, look at this. In light and in lieu of the conversation of the transcripts of the SEC and understanding that there's been this hashtag relisting motion or movement going on here, we're seeing lots of XRP moving around to different exchanges overnight here, people, thanks to XRP 2020. Look at this, 10 million Bitfinex, right? Who's next? Binance. This is amazing to me. Wallet to Paraboo. And Bitso. That to me is exciting. Now, does that necessarily mean that they will be relisting? I don't know. But I tell you, I hold out the eternal optimism that it will. And if they do, I think it's going to be a massive blow to the SEC in the middle of this case. But by the way, the SEC case is a mess. So that is why we're where we're at today. Keep on everything you tweet and retweet. Hashtag relist XRP. Let's keep the pressure on. That's where I'm at today on that. Now, Ripple price prediction here tells us we should keep an eye on this price level that we're at. I know a lot of people think, hey, if it just doesn't go to the moon, then it's over. Yesterday we were at 57, 58 cents, and now we're at 55 cents. Whoa, what happened to the 65 cents? Well, this isn't the way the markets work, so you better keep your head on a swivel. This is crypto. You never know. I will remind you that no matter what kind of technical analysts we use or showcase on the channel, there is no real price discovery, true price discovery on the assets in the digital asset space as of yet. So understand that as we look at this material, but they do tell us, keep an eye out. XRP could make that push up into that 60 some cent range again and test that 65, 67 resistance level. Again, if that turns into support and we get above it and stay above it, we can really have a conversation about the 80 cents dollar range. Okay, looking at this here. This is big. Germany creates a bridge between blockchain and the euro. Really? It's not a long article, but it really makes a lot of sense here. It says here, German authorities have developed technology allowing investors to buy and sell securities on the blockchain in return for central bank money, bridging a gap between the two worlds that once seemed irreconcilable. Listen to this. Private and public institutions around the world have been experimenting with using distributed ledger technology, best known for powering Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies for selling trades and official money. I'm not going to read the rest to you because that's essentially what is going on here. They've done it. They've done it. Now, the question is did they do it on something like the XRP ledger open source technology as a private ledger for themselves and all the people that they work with? That part we don't know yet. But I tell you what, I'm leaning in. Look here from James Rule XRP. This is SDR, special drawing rights. That's right. These are really bonds or treasury notes that are created, not currency per se, by the International Monetary Fund, the IMF. They are issued to countries that borrow from them. And basically, the IMF usually buys the debt of that said country and then issues them SDRs as a payback. And whenever they need to essentially borrow against it, what they can do is cash in those SDRs for a certain amount of money out of one of the currencies used in the SDR basket, which is made up of 5 major currencies of the world. Now, when I go into this, what I wanted to highlight to this is SDR proposal could help reset the international monetary system. Say it isn't so, Willem Middlecoop and David Marsh. I mean, my gosh, you know what kind of trouble you can get in on crypto Twitter when people talk about this notion? The immediate reason behind the decision on March 19th by G7 group industrial nations was to help lower middle-income countries hit by the pandemic. UK Chancellor, speaking after a finance ministers meeting under the UK's G7 presidency, said the new capital injection ensured no country is left behind. Kristalina Georgieva, the IMF managing director, said that the planned SDR allocation to be finalized next month would accompany measures on debt vulnerabilities and concessional finance. Action has wider significance. The U.S. now agrees that with using the IMF's balance sheet to boost the world's liquidity, one side effect of the pandemic is that the IMF's accounting unit is advancing beyond its status as an arcane currency basket and could become an essential part of a future monetary reset, they say. Really? Wow. G7 decision already foreshadowed by agreement at the G20 level is likely to more than triple SDR allocations by at least $500 billion. This reflects a change in the U.S. policy to back measures strongly advocated last year by China, as well as leading European and African countries. G7 countries will coordinate with the IMF to explore how countries could voluntarily recycle their SDR holdings to further support low-income countries. This would open a new channel for rich nations with large reserves to distribute part of their plentiful SDR stocks to poor countries. Now, I wanted to come down here because I wanted to read this out to you. This whole article, by the way, is phenomenal, but I want to read this part to you right here and this right on out. Okay, so this is where we're at here. In 2009, the United Nations suggested a new SDR-based global reserve system. In 2009, in the last crisis, feasible, non-inflationary, I do know that the XRP asset is a deflationary asset and easily implemented. Well, so is the XRP asset, right? Including in ways which mitigate the difficulties caused by asymmetric adjustment between surplus and deficit countries. That same year, Governor of the People's Bank of China proposed that the SDR could become the pivotal international reserve currency, disconnected from individual nations as the light in the tunnel for the reform of the international monetary system. Yeah, this isn't a YouTuber or a podcaster. This is the IMF and more importantly, the OMFIF, which is the official Monetary and Financial Institutions Forum. And that's what they're talking about now. As a result of the pandemic, the world's monetary system based on national fiat currencies may be approaching a turning point. With the SDR revival, Zhao's light in the tunnel is shining a little brighter. Makes you wonder if they'd put that electronic SDR really as XRP on a private ledger, maybe even along with the central banks that are doing it. And who knows, maybe it even comes out like the Group of 30 did. And Mark Carney suggested that it should be XRP because he said here in 2019, Carney has raised a lot of questions of whether globally coordinated systemic hegemonic currency could dampen the spillover shocks associated with the dominance of the U.S. dollar as a reserve currency. A systemic hegemonic currency could, for example, be a stablecoin backed by a basket of deposits at different central banks, maybe even using this, the ledger. Oh, goodness. It is possible that such a stable coin could be valuable for cross-border payments, serving a function similar to that offered in the private sector by Ripple, a real-time gross settlement company, currency exchange, and remittance network, whose digital currency XRP leapfrogs slow, expensive correspondent banking. That's Mark Carney from 2019, the former governor of the Bank of England. That's who that is. And that's why I tell you that the SEC case has real weight behind it, because even though it is a crappy case, it's not put together on the best, in the best part by the SEC for sure. I do believe that they recognize that Ripple has done with XRP what they set out to do. That's why Mark Carney talked about it in 2019. He wasn't guessing. Ripple also undertook to achieve its goal of widespread distribution of XRP by exchanging XRP for non-cash consideration. This is pre-allocation. This is pre-contractual agreements with entities in different areas of industry that agree to accept XRP on a basis that they would bring the volume of their daily payment flows to the XRP ledger to drive the value, because that's where the real value of the asset comes from. That's why we're ringing in at about 55 cents today, because you and I don't really bring the value to it. And then you look at this and you say to yourself, well, why is the FSB, the Financial Stability Board that reports to the G20, talking about regulation for supervision and oversight of a global stablecoin arrangements? Why do they do investigative research on that? Because there's going to be one. Something or some things are going to be global stablecoin qualified. And that may just end up being XRP. Looking here, I do want to show you this article from 2019 that really has some incredible spots in it. And I cannot read the whole thing to you because you'll just go to sleep, but it is a very good article. What I do want to show you here is that this is an article about the idea that Ripple's connection with the IMF and central banks back from June of 2019. And shout out to Xneo, whoever that is. Amazing article that you have here. I just want to highlight a couple things out of it where it does discuss a supranational currency was then a part of the John Maynard Keynes plan back in the day of the original creation of the Bretton Woods moment, which created the IMF, and eventually they turned away from the notion of using the Bancor token, or the Bancor coin, which was recommended by John Maynard Keynes in the original Bretton Woods, and turned down for the use of the US dollar instead. And basically here, now here is something additional that caught us my attention. XRP was labeled a supranational currency in an official document discussing digital fiat currencies. This displayed in the document on the second page where XRP is described as such. As far as I know, the IMF has removed that document. I can't find it anymore. I used to show it on the channel and I can't remember what videos I have it in. What I do want to show here is I do want to go down here because swap lines are the current system that is what is happening, a spaghetti bowl, if you will. And here we see a comment that remarks the inefficient swap line relationship between central banks of today is displayed in the picture above. It's a mess. Look at that. Right? As noted, by utilizing XRP as settlement tool between central banks, there would not be a need for these complex bilateral relationships with swap lines. Right? So, if I'm going to print more money, then I need all the other countries around the world to agree to either buy that money up and then print as much money as they have so we can keep the same disparity between each other's currency on the exchange rate. That's how I understand it. Now, what I do want to show here is that there was another spot that I wanted to talk about here, I think. Yes, I do. I want to go down here one more spot. Let's hit this right here, I believe. Okay. Now, what is ultimately going on between Ripple and the IMF and all of these central banks? It is his belief, or their belief, that the IMF has realized the potential for the technology that Ripple holds and that they are actively trying to make central banks and other financial institutions adopt the technology. Really? Like this, you mean? And then looking here, I also believe that the IMF realizes that the role they see for the IMF could become a reality by utilizing technology Ripple has to offer. This only makes sense for me in the case of them using XRP in some way. Why would the IMF otherwise follow Ripple everywhere? Ripple is simply a payments company. A main role for the IMF is to achieve stable exchange rates between currencies, which is why I talked about the swap lines and the issues there. Right? They could tie the SDR to XRP for settlement. XRP might be the Bancor coin. I also find it fitting that the IMF sees central banks as much more central, no pun intended, in the future to the financial system. This is likely why Ripple keeps having all of these meetings with central banks. They are trying to create this relationship with the IMF in the center of all central banks, where all payments are being routed through central banks, likely for safety as well as tracking reasons. I believe a new financial system is being implemented where the IMF, central banks, and Ripple technology with XRP is at the center of it all. XRP, the standard. That's what I'm talking about. And before we get out of here, it's tax time, everybody. Clinton Donnelly, pay attention if you're a crypto trader or an investor and you need help with your taxes. There is no one better than Clinton Donnelly Tax Law. I'm going to tell you that right now. You have a link in the description box as well as many other things there. Make sure you check all of them out and hit the like and subscribe. Leave a comment below and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a thing. I'll catch all of you on the next one.